Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first ever episode of this wonderful new podcast that I just know you're going to love. This is the best podcast on the internet, and that's fact.
Agreed.
That's absolute fact. My name is Pink Boomerang.
And my name is Bluetoonz.
And let's just jump right into it.
Agreed. All right,
Henry,
so what are we going to be talking about today?
Yeah,
Please,
I've got
let's
a
get started.
Big question for you. Big important
you do?
question.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
How secure are your passwords?
That is an excellent question. You know what? I'd say for the most part, they're pretty secure. I have a really terrible habit of using not the same password.
Yeah.
Because that's just not a good idea. But
it's not.
Like variations of different passwords.
Yeah, so it's easy to remember.
There's not a LastPass sponsorship on this video, is there?
No, there's not a LastPass.
Okay, just check.
Do you know I use LastPass?
I do too.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
I'm just sort of bad about using it, but that's okay. I don't use it for everything. I do use it for some things.
No, I use LastPass. I mean, I would make my own, but I just don't feel like committing the time. But
plus then what if you forget to write it down, and then you put in a bunch of random numbers and letters that was a secure password, but now you have no idea what it is, and yeah.
But all my passwords are super secure. Like all my passwords in LastPass specifically, I have all of them randomized, and they're all upwards of like 30 characters long. Wow. So there's no chance that anyone is getting them. But there are a lot of people with bad passwords out there.
That's true.
A lot of people.
Well, I guess I could be one of them. There's like one password that I have on 3 accounts. It's not for anything important.
Yeah.
But, it's like, oh no, someone got into my Tumblr. I don't have a Tumblr, but...
My Tumblr from 8 years ago.
What am I going to do? Oh.
Yeah, no, but it's crazy. I mean, I've been fiddling around recently with just simple tests for cracking passwords. On my
I'm sure it's really easy
on one of my virtual machines, and it is really easy.
I have no doubt.
So what I've found is like, there are 2 main types of like attacks for cracking passwords, right? We have brute force and then dictionary attacks. Brute force is exactly what it sounds like. You try literally every combination until you get the right one. Which for a lot of passwords is actually quite viable, because some passwords are just like 6 characters long with no symbols or digits or anything like that.
Yeah, that's
some
true.
people just put the space bar like 5 times, and that's their password.
See, that's the thing that like is just unbelievable to me. Like, how can you just set like the space bar 5 times as your password? I mean, I wouldn't assume that anyone would guess that if they were trying to log into your account, but the people who are going to be obtaining your passwords are deliberately using tools to help them gain access to your account. So the tools will easily be able to guess the password space.
Oh yeah, no, it's incredibly easy. Like, I don't even have to do anything for it to be for me to get hundreds of passwords from, either simple tests or real data that's already been cracked. And there's tons of resources for practicing this stuff. But the second type of attacks, dictionary attacks, is where it gets crazy. Because I can just be like, okay, here's what we do, and this works for longer passwords, right? So, over 9 characters, it gets kind of like ridiculous and infeasible. Is that a word? Unfeasible?
Yeah, I'm going to say unfeasible, because infeasible is not a word. Not feasible. There we go.
It is not feasible to brute force passwords that are just over 9 characters. It's just not. But with dictionary attacks, we can like look at patterns and passwords that we know people actually use, and we can say, okay, let's try that. So, dictionaries will go through common words and put them in different orders, and we can look through names and names of places. And then we can say, okay, a lot of people have a date at the end of their password, for example.
Yeah.
I can just say, okay, how about we, try every date?
Like a word and then every date.
A word or a name and then a date. And it's like, that sounds like a lot to go through, like a bunch of names and a bunch of dates. But at the end of the day, you got to realize, my machine is by no means is it a high-end machine, but, I can crank out a few 100 million hashes per second. So I'm trying a few 100 million passwords every
Passwords.
second.
Yeah, exactly.
It's crazy. Like, and it boggles my mind how people, like, this is a thing that happens every day across multiple companies. I mean, most of them don't get hacked, right? Like Facebook and Google and all that.
Yeah.
Because their
But,
encryption
every
is
once
ridiculous.
in a while,
But every
there's
once in a while, something gets out.
absolutely something slips. And
I mean,
you hear
right
about
now, on my
it.
desktop.
Facebook got a bunch of people's information leaked. I mean, they already do it themselves, but still.
Recently?
Yeah. I don't know about recently. It's been within the past, 2 years.
Okay. But on my desktop right now, I have a text document called RockU. If you Google RockU right now, this is the first thing that pops up is a text document.
When you mean rock you mean like rock and then the letter U, or rock the word?
Rock and then the word U. But this text document is a leak from this website or this program called RockU. I forget what it was exactly, but it was a leak. They stored their passwords in literally a plain text document.
Oh my
God. just
oh,
and it contains 14 million passwords.
I see Naruto, SpongeBob, Softball, Princesa, Alexandra. These are all super simple.
Yeah. I mean, just going through it, I don't have it open right now.
Someone's password is just cheese.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Oh my God.
It really is. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, so
password 1.
Dictionaries go beyond just simply, choosing words. We can say, we can substitute rules and parameters. So like if we want to check for leet speak in a password, we can say, okay, well, if this guess didn't work, replace the E with a 3 or replace the O with a 0 or whatever. You get the point.
Or something like that.
But I mean, it's crazy. Like it really blew my mind just working with this stuff. Like,
yeah, that's really
anything can happen.
I mean, that's something that not something. I would like to major in computer science when I go off to college. So if I could, maybe I should start getting into that just to get a better understanding of how it works.
Yeah, I mean, cybersecurity, like that's what I want to do.
Cybersecurity is so important.
Yeah. I mean, as long as another country does not like another country, then we won't have a need for cybersecurity.
Yeah, exactly. Once we achieve world peace, everything will be fine. But until then...
Oh, yeah, once we get world peace. I mean, even after that, there's always people who want to hack into some website. Take Google's information. I guess not Google's, but the people's information, you should say.
Yeah, I was going to say, Google gives out all their information. I mean, maybe not like insider projects and stuff like that, and their, obviously accounts and money and that type of thing is very safely protected. But, I mean, like information-wise, it's Google. It's a search engine.
I mean, in 20 years, when quantum computers are like available to these big companies, encryption is dead. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
We're done. Like, the possibilities are just so endless. I mean, when we're looking back to just the history of classical computers, in the 1980s, people are like, yeah, we'll never be, buying newspapers and reading books on a computer.
Yeah.
Look where we are today,
Now people have even gotten past that.
The possibilities really are endless.
People don't even read books anymore. They only read them.
Yeah, people don't even read, dude.
And that's where today's
No, we're not doing that.
We're not having a sponsor.
We don't have a sponsor. This is the first episode.
Hey, you never know. Setting up boundaries right now. Parameters.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think we have to talk about this. We have to get this out of the way because it's a current event. Coronavirus, that's a thing. It's 2020.
Oh, really? Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
This has by far been the worst year of my life. Like, not even a contest.
Really?
Yeah, for sure. Well, if not worst, for sure second worst.
Okay.
Like, in terms of the amount of events that have happened in the shortest span of time, it's the worst. Yeah. But as a whole, like, I'm feeling better than I did during the worst year of my life, if that makes sense.
No, that makes sense. But, I mean...
It's been a bad year for the world, for sure.
Wow. Like, holy shit, dude. It's been crazy.
And it is... April is in a day.
How many people have lost their jobs just in the U.S.? It's like 3 or 4 million.
It's 3.14 million, I believe.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, where I work at Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
So I, technically speaking, have not lost my job because they can do carryout.
Mm-hmm.
They have a drive-thru. They can do that as well, but they can also do carryout meals. And what they're doing is, I'm a high school student. Obviously, I don't need
We both are, yeah.
the paycheck that I receive from Chick-fil-A is not mandatory for me to pay my bills and survive.
Right.
So what they've done is they've prioritized the employees who obviously need the money to get more hours so that they can still, obviously live their normal lives, which I think is amazing. And a lot of companies are providing those type of services, which is really, really nice. It's a time where humanity needs people to be good people.
Absolutely.
Because not everyone has the resources to, obviously some people can give a lot more than others, but I feel like this is a time where definitely everyone needs to band together and give as much as we can.
I think it's so crazy, we live in the U.S., right? We live in the richest country in the world, essentially.
Well,
you could argue China, but the U.S. most important. Is that fair?
Yes.
I'd give we're
that.
the forefront on the global stage, so to say.
Sure. Yeah.
I think it's ridiculous that we have almost zero health infrastructure dedicated to epidemics and pandemics.
Isn't that crazy?
Just come out of nowhere. Yeah.
Did you know that Donald Trump almost disbanded our pandemic preparation team back in 2018?
I did not know that.
Even though he recently denied that it existed at all. He was like, I didn't even know that we had that. But in 2018, he proposed a bill saying that we cut funding to our pandemic preparation team.
Well, it's a good thing that didn't happen.
Look where we are now.
Yeah. Funny how the world works.
Indeed it is. Karma's an interesting beast.
I think it's just crazy. The economy has dropped below where it was during Obama's presidency.
Exactly. And it was doing really well.
Yeah.
Especially in terms of jobs, the unemployment rate was 3%.
Yeah,
which is the lowest it's been in a very long time.
The stock market was doing really well also.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know if I'm fully versed to talk about the stock market, but, it was obviously...
I took an economics class,
I'm kind of a professional.
We had...
I dabble.
I learned a lot about it because we had this game where basically we got $100,000.
Yeah, and you invest in certain stocks.
And you invest in certain stocks.
The same thing.
But it's not real money or whatever, and it's who gets the most money wins. And you can cheat because the website is off of a delay of the actual markets. You can
you can just check.
Yeah. So out of all the people who didn't cheat, I made the most money.
Nice.
I made $14,900 something in the 3 months that I had. It was mostly Tesla. Tesla did a lot of the heavy lifting there.
Our Rocket League sponsor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Tesla just skyrocketed for some reason.
That's the thing, though. Tesla stock is this is something that I do know at least a little bit of information about. Tesla stock varies a lot.
It does.
They drop and go up all the time.
Yeah. Tesla is weird because they don't make, any money, essentially.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's very weird that people are putting their trust into a company that does not turn a profit.
Yeah.
But then again, I also think it's weird that people invest in gold. It makes sense because...
No, in theory, yes, it does, but...
At the end of the day, what do you
really... it's nice to invest in something that's physical and you can,
right,
it's obviously
it's backed
there,
by
but
something.
It's not a business that can. I guess technically it grows with supply and demand, but still.
Right. Gold is weird. Gold is really weird. I get the idea of investing in something physical. Okay, I'm putting my money behind this, so if the markets crash, then all my money is on gold, and I have, it still has value. Yeah, but if the markets crash, doesn't that mean, because gold is technically a stock, so if they crash, doesn't gold also technically crash?
Technically speaking, yes, but I wouldn't say that gold as a stock is necessarily it's a physical item.
Right.
Like, people can find it, obviously, and that therefore makes more of a supply of it, and technically it is therefore decreasing in value. But it's not like, the stock market crashed, and it's just like, they dumped all of the gold into the ocean, and now it's gone. Like, it's still there.
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily know if it would lose value as quickly as, like, a stock would.
Can I go to my local Federal Reserve and be like, hey, I want my gold if the markets crash?
Maybe.
I think that used to be a thing.
That's a great question. Actually, I'm going to look up.
Okay. That's a good Google
check this
question.
out. The stock of gold is currently is 19.29.
I don't know if that's...
It's up 0.26% from where it was yesterday.
Is gold on an upward or downward trend here?
It's
kind of flatlining.
I was going to say, it's pretty stable, and then it flatlines, and then it goes down.
Yeah.
And then it goes back up. The stock market is an interesting thing. I'm not...
It's a phenomena, for sure.
I am not knowledgeable enough about it to talk with extreme certainty. That's cool. We officially hit 3,000 deaths from the coronavirus.
Oh, did you just get a news notification for that?
Yeah. Well, I hate admitting this because I get made fun of a lot for doing it, but I use Microsoft Edge as my browser.
Yeah.
And the default search engine for Microsoft... Okay, see? Look, you're making fun of me too. The default search engine for Microsoft Edge is Bing.
Yeah.
And so Bing has a news feed, and of course the first thing in the news feed is the pandemic could kill 200,000 in the U.S.
Oh, yeah, I saw that tonight.
Yeah. But, yeah, who knows?
Is that, like... I mean, in proportion to how the virus is spreading, is that, like, a big number, or...
In proportion to how it's spreading, I would say yes.
Maybe
because that is about... That is... Oh, actually, it's only 0.0005% of the population.
Okay.
But that's still...
It's still 200,000 people.
Just kidding.
At the end of the day. Do we have predictions for how many people get infected?
I believe that they expected like 50% of the country to get it, which is a lot of people.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't think that it'll happen, but that is... Like, if it did, that is a lot of people.
I mean, how many people get the flu every year? Like
a lot. But not that many people die. Like, the flu has like a 0.5% mortality rate or something like that.
Still, that adds up over 7 point whatever billion people,
Let's see. The flu mortality rate... The worldwide deaths are anywhere from 2 to 7.4 million.
I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how this pans out.
Yeah.
And they say deaths peak in April.
Yeah, I was going to say, they're saying like late
tomorrow,
April, early May.
So.
Oh, no. The second we get into tomorrow, we're going to go to sleep and wake up the next day, and
we're going to wake up
half
dead.
Of America is dead.
So we're not going to wake up.
Yeah, I guess not. That's sort of what it's looking like right now. That's April. So far, we got January is scares on World War III. February is the Australia wildfires. And March is the beginning of the coronavirus. And April can be the end of the world.
We all perish.
Everyone.
Every single one. Do you have a specific site where you trust your news?
I'm going to be honest. No. I usually go to multiple different sites just to, see if a report is the same.
Yeah.
I would say that the coronavirus is definitely something where news is a little bit more credible because I feel like there's less political bias about it.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like hiding the amount of deaths that we're really having...
That's just not a good idea.
It's just not a benefit for, like, a political party no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just a bad look.
We're just trying to save lives at the end of the day.
Exactly. Like, I feel like there are a lot of issues that are political issues, but they don't necessarily have to do anything with politics. It's just weird. It's a weird time.
It is. I've never really experienced a time like this, at least in my life.
A lot of people who are currently alive haven't.
I guess there was swine flu a while back.
Yeah.
When was that? 2009? 2010?
I feel like that wasn't as lethal, though. Yeah, it was in 2009.
2009, yeah. Deaths, USA, swine flu, 12,000 deaths.
There were only... Oh. See, but that's the thing. Swine flu appears to be more lethal despite your age. There were 1,100 child deaths and 7,500 like young adult deaths.
Yeah, coronavirus is just more age-based.
I don't know about just more age-based, but, you know.
It's you're more susceptible if you are very old or very young.
Yeah, I was going to say. Most definitely. Especially because, if you have a respiratory condition too, it doesn't really, your age doesn't really take into account. Like, my friend's younger sister has cystic fibrosis, and her entire house is, like, on lockdown, which is totally legitimate because she's, like, super at risk.
It's going to be weird. I don't think we're probably going to have classes for the rest of the year.
What do you mean?
Maybe
like online classes?
No, like we won't go back to school. We're doing online classes right now.
You know that we don't go back until... When do you guys end school?
We end school May... I actually don't know. It's May, it's somewhere around the 20th. Something like that. Maybe a week or two earlier.
Our end date is May, I believe, 29th.
Yeah, and they just called off
and they just called
until the end of April, did they say?
It's May 1st. May 1st is the
May
first
1st? Okay.
Or sorry, not first day back. May 1st is a Friday, so that's the last day that we will be off of break, unless it gets worse. In which case they will extend it once again.
That kind of sucks for all the people graduating, because they probably don't have
That's what I was going to say.
A graduation.
A ton of my... Well, that's the thing. If we go back at the beginning of May, things might still work. Maybe.
That's just a lot of preparation, and
it's a lot of preparation that needs to be done. Yeah, I was going to say, like our prom is in May.
Mm-hmm.
Do I know why? Nope. It's like literally a week before school ends. So if they somehow manage to pull it off, that would be cool because I can actually go this year.
I had an overnight retreat scheduled.
I was going to say, you were telling me about this.
Yeah, I had an overnight retreat scheduled. When was it scheduled? It was this month at some point. I think it was like the second or third week this month. I think. I don't really remember because I forgot and didn't care. But
yeah.
But I have to do a 3-day overnight retreat to be able to graduate. It's a graduation requirement for whatever reason. And they just moved it to... Yeah, it is. But they moved it to the week after school is supposed to end. And I'm like, oh, great, you're taking my summer from me.
Yeah, I was going to say. That's what I really don't want. I really hope that this doesn't get to the point where we have to, extend classes into the summer. Another thing that I'm really not confused about.
Would that just be more online learning stuff, you think?
No, I feel like I feel like we might get back into physical
classes. At that
classes,
point, we're turning the world around.
Who knows?
Or our society, I guess.
Dude, Trump wanted everything done by
by Easter.
Easter, which is April 12th, which is less than 2 weeks away.
2 weeks.
So I'm going to be honest. It's
not going to happen.
It's absolutely not happening. All of society misses normalcy, obviously, and we're trying to maintain a sense of normalcy. But if we try to do that, then it'll be even longer until we get that normalcy back.
Right.
So the longer we keep trying to, live life as it used to be without social distancing and stuff like that, the longer it'll take for the virus to go away, and the longer it'll obviously be an issue.
What's your how have you been doing with online classes? Because that's a big change for a lot of people.
Yeah. The thing, it definitely varies from class to class.
Definitely.
Like math, doing great. Math is fantastic.
Math is essentially the same for me.
Yeah, I was going to say, math is pretty much the same. I do the exact same methods of studying. If I don't understand something, I just look it up on Khan Academy or YouTube or something.
Yeah.
And there's always a really, really good tutorial for each math, unit, whatever we're learning at the moment. We're doing polar coordinates right now. So that has been interesting. But yeah. So I learned how to use polar coordinates through Khan Academy. So that was cool.
There you go.
But I feel like this will hopefully teach a lot of people actually how to study. Because there are a lot of people I know who just don't study for anything.
Yeah.
And now not having a teacher to directly be able to explain things to you is going to have to, if you want to maintain a good grade, obviously you're going to have to use resources that are available to you in order to keep that grade.
Yeah, especially in math where it's very, not one-on-one, but it's very teacher-student relationship based.
Oh, absolutely.
The teacher has to explain stuff to you. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to perform, bottom line. But, something like English or languages is a lot easier because they can just be I guess oral stuff is a little bit harder, but I don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, I was going to say.
How's Latin? Greek and Latin. It's very fun.
Oh, I apologize.
I take both because I'm just that smart.
I see.
Greek and Latin, they're two very different subjects, mostly because the teachers are very different. My Latin, and I'm also in Greek 1 and Latin 3, so there's a big divide there. Yeah. Latin 3, at least for me, is like, okay, basically we've learned all the grammar there is to learn. Now we're refining those skills, and then just saying, hey, okay, here's, something that Julius Caesar actually wrote. Like, here's his actual words translated now. Because you have all the tools able to do this. Just do it.
That's kind of interesting.
And it's very difficult.
Yeah. But it's definitely, I'm not going to bash you. Well, I might a little bit. Latin is just not spoken anywhere.
I not spoken lot,
anywhere, but I feel like it's definitely an interesting thing to learn. It's just not extremely applicable in a lot of situations. But, if you know it, you can be extra smart because you know how to speak Latin.
I completely agree. It's not something you need to know. It's something you probably should learn a little bit about if you're going into like being a doctor or whatever, or a nurse, because it just helps with memorizing different stuff, anatomy,
and learning
whatever.
Pronouns and prefixes and stuff like that.
Right, so it's helpful with that. And lawyers too, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I feel like it could
be someone just said lawyers to me, and I was like, okay.
All right.
But Greek is...
Be a lawyer or a doctor?
No.
Well,
I'm not. Greek is completely different though, because everyone in
spoken language.
Well, this is ancient Greek, so it's different. Specifically Homeric Greek, because the objective of the class is to translate the Odyssey and the Iliad, which we're starting on right now, actually.
How is that in terms of online learning?
It's pretty simple. He just emails us assignments, so like maybe we'll get a test or whatever that we can use their book on, and then there'll be a translation to accompany it, like a separate assignment. I finished, what was it, The Lotus Eaters Part 2 today, and that was just wonderful. The translations for Greek though are really hard because we're very much rushing into it much faster than we did Latin, because everyone in my Greek class has taken Latin up to Latin 2. So, and the languages are incredibly similar. Greek is probably easier.
Well, obviously Greek is a Latin-based language.
Latin is a Greek-based language.
Just kidding.
They just have different alphabets. Yeah, Greek came first, and then Latin.
Actually, you're right. Why did I... Yep.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
What was I going to say? But no, Greek is... It's very similar in... Like, okay, this word is doing this thing, and this word is doing this because this, whatever. But it's also very different because, A, it's a different alphabet, which I don't think a lot of... Outside of Chinese or Mandarin, whatever, outside of that, not a lot of schools have... languages that you can pick from that have different alphabets. Maybe I could be wrong on that, but
my school actually offers Chinese and Arabic.
That's interesting.
So that's cool. Now, to be fair, I don't know a lot of people who take Arabic, and the classes are generally really small, and they usually consist of about 14 people. But still, it's definitely an interesting language to learn.
Mm-hmm. Certainly.
But I found it weird as a language offering in terms of like the fact that everything else is, like Spanish, French, Chinese, and those are typically the three that are offered.
Yeah. But the online learning for the languages has been weird because Like, okay, normally I'd ask, like, I just have to raise my hand and ask, okay, why is this and not that? If that makes sense.
Yes. Why is this and not that?
Because, like, Greek and Latin are taught to you in such a different way than other languages. Like,
they're not necessarily...
Obviously, they're not spoken, so we aren't given orals. And the translation is much, much harder because there's a bigger divide between, like, okay, this was spoken 2,000 years ago.
Yeah, I was going to say, the language used is obviously vastly different.
Spanish is a lot more modern, and it's up to date, you could say.
Yes.
In Latin, like, if you ask me to say, can you go drive up to KFC and get me some chicken? I wouldn't be able to tell you how to say that.
There's nothing for drive, I'd assume. Obviously, cars didn't exist.
I mean, we do have a word for drive.
Really?
But not same context, like chariot drive or carriage drive.
Well, you could just be referring to driving the chariot after the
act
KFC.
Of moving forward on some device with wheels.
Yeah, to be fair, I think I would probably find it a little bit weird if you asked me to move forward to the local KFC. But,
move forward to the local KFC.
It works. Like my Spanish teacher last year was comparing this to, you can definitely make small grammatical mistakes. And it's like, if someone is speaking English and they say like, what be your name? Instead of like, what is your name? Like, you still understand what they're saying.
Mm-hmm.
There are just small things like that obviously getting down and speaking the language is definitely beneficial for. Well, if we're still on the topic of online learning, I'm going to go on a little bit of a rant here for a hot second. So I like the idea. I actually think that it has provided an extreme amount of benefit to a lot of students, especially in today's educational climate where people are continuously appearing to be more stressed and, lack of sleep and, mental deterioration and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I would even say like almost commonly prevalent at this point, at least at my school. There are a lot of people who like deal with stress and anxiety issues about school and like don't get enough sleep and that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Especially at this time in our lives where we're going through developmental stages, and sleep and stuff like that is obviously extremely important. You do most of your growing and, processing of your digestion and stuff like that while you're asleep. But on the other hand, some of my teachers, specifically, I'm going to go off on my Gov teacher here for a second.
Okay.
So we had spring break last week, and she was the only teacher who assigned us any work over spring break.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but it's like, really? No one else assigned us any work at all, and you decided to give us 3 assignments.
Yeah.
It was like an essay, a graphic organizer, and then one of them was just like a simple like ed puzzle. We just had to watch a video and answer some questions. But the previous week, she gave us 2 FRQs, but we didn't have to just answer the FRQs. That stands for free response question for anyone not in an AP class.
Mm-hmm.
But so you have to create the FRQs, like, based on a court case comparison. So you have to
create the question,
required cases, and then take an excerpt from an unrequired case, and then compare it to a required case, and then make 3 questions on it, and then answer those 3 questions as well.
Yeah.
So we hadn't learned about any of the required cases yet. We had to learn about non-required cases as well on top of that were able to be compared to the required cases. So you had to do that. And that was just one assignment for the week. There were 3 more.
There were 3.
You had to write, we had an argumentative essay, another argumentative essay, actually. We had 2. I feel like she's using the excuse of like, oh, well, you're at home now, so you have like extra time. Like, you're not at school, so obviously we don't have like 50 minutes in a day anymore. It'll take you, my class periods are 50 minutes long. But, you have more than 50 minutes, you're at home now, so I can assign you extra work. And it's like, I understand it, but if everyone does that, then it's going to be impossible to keep up with all the work, especially when an increased workload is definitely more difficult when you can't directly communicate with your teacher either.
Yeah, no, that's the big draw with online learning like this. I mean, especially since I think so many of the teachers have no idea what they're doing. They're mostly winging it.
There are some teachers that are doing a really good job.
No, definitely.
But there are others who are definitely... That's the thing. I feel like my Gov teacher, she's young, she's pretty good with technology, that type of thing. She's a little bit too involved with the online learning thing and like checking up and making sure that everything is, okay, and that we're learning what we're supposed to be. And especially now when we're at home without a teacher to help us directly teach the information, and we have to teach most of it ourselves, it's, that's a little bit more of a learning curve as well. So assigning more work on top of the fact that we don't have a teacher is not the way to do it.
Right, and then like some teachers are just not available like ever.
Yeah.
We have office hours for all of our teachers. Most of them, I want to say. My theology teacher, his office hours are like 9:30 to 10. So
that's not even an hour.
It's not even an hour.
It's supposed to be office hours, like plural, like at least 2.
Every single one of my teachers, other than my theology teacher, has like 3 or 4 hours a day where they'll sit at their computer and answer emails or whatever.
Yeah. And obviously, I mean, I feel like kids have a ton of questions at the moment.
Absolutely.
This is literally new to everyone.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, people are worrying about colleges and getting in and that type of thing, and I feel like we just need to remember that this is happening literally all across the country.
Yeah.
All across the globe. Like, everyone is going to be understanding of the fact that, like, you might not have grasped all the information fourth quarter because there was a global pandemic going on and you couldn't leave your house to ask your teacher what was wrong with what you were learning.
I want to go back to what you said earlier about, like, I find this so weird. So I want to preface this by saying I am mentally pretty good, I think. I'm a happy guy. I get a lot of sleep.
Yeah.
But the I don't want to say stigma, that's not the right word. But like the precedent of not getting a ton of sleep and, staying up who knows how long, like we're doing right now. It's 1:03 a.m.
But that's the thing. Right now, we have a little bit more flexibility. Like, I will probably sleep in until like 10 tomorrow.
That's what I like about what's happening right now, is people can actually catch up on sleep and all
that's
that.
What I
and
was
like
saying.
Eat breakfast.
Yeah.
I don't know why that's so common. Why do people not eat breakfast?
Isn't that weird? I agree. My friend
I don't get that.
Never eats breakfast. I'm like, do you even remember the saying that it's the most important meal of the day?
Yeah. I mean, like I'm not the biggest fan of cereal, okay? And I get it. You're also probably not the biggest fan of cereal.
I am not the biggest fan of cereal.
But at the end of the day, like you
gotta
said,
eat.
most important meal of the day, you gotta eat, dude.
You gotta eat something.
I don't know.
That's the thing. I feel like it's just basic, like, taking care of yourself. And a lot of people just don't. Like, some people are so focused. I was in this class last year.
Yeah.
AP seminar. It is a research-based essay class. And a lot of schools don't offer it, and even a lot of those who do don't offer it as a credit. So it's normally an elective. But my school has it offered as an English credit. So I took it last year, sophomore year, so that I could get an English credit and get an AP credit and, obviously put it towards a lot of my college applications.
Right.
However, I think that currently it's an expanding list for sure, but there are very, very, very few schools that recognize it as a class at all, like in terms of universities and colleges. So even though I passed the class with a 4 on the test, I'm not really going to get credit for that, and it's not going to help me out at all.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think at the very least...
Sorry, go ahead.
At the very least, I think colleges see, okay, it's listed as an AP class,
Yeah, they're obviously... They
might not give you
they're
credit
trying their
for
best.
it, but...
They're at the top of what their school's educational, threshold has to offer.
Right, absolutely.
But what I was going to try to get to is that is the first class that I have ever stayed up past midnight to do any work ever. And some people, that just seems like the norm. Like, I have friends who stay up until like 1 or 2 doing schoolwork. There are these people now. My friend sent me a text yesterday, since we're on the quote unquote break from school. He stayed up until 4:30 in the morning. In the morning. I have another friend of mine, separate person, one time texted me at 7 a.m. and I was like, oh, they're up early today. No, they just didn't go to sleep.
They just did not go to sleep
at all. Like, that's just so terrible for your mental health.
It's so bad.
So many people don't realize. They're like, oh, yeah, I'm just tired. But also, I'm, like, clinically depressed. But it's because of, like, outside factors.
Right. No, there are a ton of outside factors. And I mean,
As someone... Sorry, go ahead.
I hear a lot of older generations refer to our generation as the most tolerant generation that is fully developed right now, because I mean the generation below us hasn't been fully born yet.
Yeah, obviously.
But I think I'm not a psychologist or anything like that. But I'm a pretty tolerant person.
Yeah,
but being
I would agree with that.
The most tolerant generation, like, are we too tolerant? Like, are we letting people get to us too much?
Yeah, absolutely.
And is that contributing to... And I think the answer is obviously yes.
I would 100% agree.
Like, we listen to so much negative media, and I have no idea why, because I try and stay far away from that.
I personally... I have, like, Instagram, Snapchat. I don't post on them ever, because there's just a lot of... And that's the thing. I feel like it also depends on who you surround yourself with and what you look at. Like, if you're looking to get hate and negativity and, like, bad responses on something you post,
then you're going to get it. Yeah.
It's almost your own fault, in a sense. Like, I don't want to say that, like, obviously if someone's being, like, cyberbullied or something, they're not, like, purposely, like, trying to get bullied. No one does that. But it's like, if someone's commenting something negative on your photo, just block them.
It really isn't that hard.
Like,
I don't get it.
And that's the thing. Everyone is just, who cares? Like, if you want to post something, you obviously took the liberty to, like, you're like, you know what, I like this photo, I'm going to post it. And if you like it, then that's really all that matters. It doesn't matter if anyone else comments on your photo and is like, your hair looks weird in this picture. It's like, so what?
Absolutely.
Like, it's just... And back to the sleep thing. I just... Like, in terms of my associates, I will say, who appear to have the most, like, mental issues and that type of thing currently going on,
they don't sleep a lot.
I would say absolutely hands down it is the people who don't sleep or get the least amount of sleep. Everyone sleeps, but there are a lot of people I know who will get like 3-4 hours of sleep, like, regularly.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. Like, if I didn't have to sleep, I wouldn't, because I actually like doing things,
Yeah, I was going to say, but
my body will not let me not
especially
sleep for
as I said,
a certain amount of hours.
Especially right now. Like, your brain is developing, your body's growing. You need to digest your food. You need to calm down. Your heart rate needs to go down. There are so many processes that occur while your body is asleep that are necessary for you to function. And if you just ignore all that or don't give it enough time to do so, it is not going to function properly.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's no real way to solve that, though, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can't just be like, oh, we'll just get more sleep. Because, again, sleep cycles
that doesn't work. That's like telling
an
alcohol addict, just stop drinking alcohol.
Just stop drinking alcohol. It's that easy.
Not really how that works.
It is just not.
Not at all.
I mean, it's not similar in a sense. I feel like sleep cycles are also a huge thing. It's not like you're addicted to not sleeping.
Right.
But it's like once you get into a certain cycle, I mean, if I stayed up until, like, actually my sleep cycle right now is so out of whack. I've been staying up until like 2 o'clock and sleeping in until like 10. But to be fair, it has been consistent.
Yeah.
So technically it is still a healthy sleep cycle. Like, a lot
as long as it is consistently a good amount of sleep, then it's
consistently a good amount of sleep, and it is consistent. It's not like I get 8 hours by, like, going to bed at 9 and waking up at, like, 4.
Whatever time that is 8 hours later.
Yeah, I don't think, it's not 4. It's 5.
It's 5.
Yeah. So
Quick
if
math.
you went to bed at 9 and woke up at 5, and then the next night you went to bed at 1 and woke up at 10, you're going to be out of whack. And that's just because that's how the body works. But yeah, I would say definitely this whole coronavirus thing has gotten me thinking and talking about a lot of different things.
Yeah, I mean,
in terms of, like, the educational system, how people themselves are affecting themselves, and how it's not entirely because of the education system. But I feel like partially there is a fault there. I feel like school is definitely a little bit more, well, not a little bit more, it's definitely more stressful, and the pressure is definitely more intense than it was when our parents were in school. Like, even my mom will admit that.
I want to talk about quickly, just because it's on my mind right now.
No, please do.
Why are people buying so much goddamn toilet paper?
Toilet paper.
And meat, too.
Excellent question.
It's meat, toilet paper, household items. Like, why? I don't understand. You're not going to the bathroom more.
You're not. I saw this comment the other day. I was laughing my ass off. They were like, it was like a hypothetical situation, like a dystopian reality where we've all been killed off by the coronavirus, and there are these people going around and like inspecting all the dead bodies of the people that have died. And they're like, oh, that's so weird. Like, everyone's ass is just perfectly clean. And it's like, oh, well, that's good, because at least we had all the toilet paper. Hand sanitizer, I mean, actually, I guess that's all also, pretty hard to find nowadays. But that makes sense.
Yeah. Doesn't hand sanitizer, like, not do anything, though?
I mean, not... Unless it kills 99.99% of germs.
No, well, I mean coronavirus is just like, that 0.1.
The 0.01%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, hand sanitizer is definitely helpful. It keeps your hands cleaner than it would be if you just didn't do anything. I mean, washing your hands with soap and water while singing Happy Birthday twice is obviously the most effective way to clean your hands.
I sing the alphabet. I mean, I guess it's the same either way.
Yeah.
Happy birthday is weird. That's like, it's not my birthday.
I don't know. That's what I was told as a child.
That's fair. I forget who told me this, but someone, maybe it was my mom, I don't remember. Someone was at the grocery store, and in front of them was this old guy who had bought like $3,000 worth of meat. It's like, why? I really don't get why people are overbuying stuff. Like,
I mean, I understand it. Like,
economically, it doesn't make sense to me. Maybe in like a sort of like, panic, but like...
Yeah, no, I mean, I feel like there was definitely a lot of stigma where people were like, oh my god, the world is going to end. That was definitely a fear for like the first week. But now that it's, I mean, not mellowed out, it's obviously still an issue, but I feel like people are finally realizing like, hey, my life isn't really that drastically different to the point where, actually, I can't even say that. It depends on where you live. But at least around, where I live, I would say that a lot of people, the only difference is that they can't go to school or work. But it's not like the world around us is like collapsing as we speak.
No, not at all.
I mean, there are definitely a lot of prevalent issues and, exposing a lot of things in our healthcare system. That's for sure.
That is absolutely for sure.
We were absolutely not ready for this. Bill Gates was right.
Bill Gates was right.
Shout out to TED Talk on it 4 years ago, and we were like, nah, that's stupid. We're not going to need that.
I watched the TED Talk. I was like, yeah, that makes sense.
Me too.
But it also happened so fast. I mean,
it did, but like, it was in China like a month and a half before it got to the U.S. at all.
Yeah, it was like,
and we were sort of just like
weeks, maybe even a month.
No, it was definitely a month.
It was definitely a month. Okay.
Yeah, I might even say that it might have been.
And then the next week, it was like, country on lockdown.
It's in the U.S.
Yeah.
There was a while there where everyone was like, hey, let's go. West Virginia doesn't have any cases. And everyone was like, oh, no, they got a case. You were the chosen one.
But yeah, it affects a lot of people in different ways. Like, obviously, we live in a I don't want to say, oh my God. I don't want to say we live in a mega city, but we live in a populous area for sure.
We do live in a populous area. That's the thing. I can't even imagine what people are going through, like, in the countryside right now.
Like
if we traveled like 30, 40 minutes south from here, I would not love to see what's going on. I'm sure that it might make me, sad and realize, a lot of people have a lot less resources.
Mm-hmm.
But I would be interested to see how less rural populations are handling this, for sure.
I mean, imagine having to like wake up at 6 a.m. so you can drive down to the grocery store, which is like almost an hour away, and then seeing there's no toilet paper left. That's crazy.
It's not fun.
I can't even imagine.
I'm only laughing because of the toilet paper thing, but it's like, that's just horrible.
It really is.
Again, why with the toilet paper? That was so weird. I feel
It
like
really
it
does
almost,
not make
I feel like it
sense.
almost happened at first, like as a joke. Like someone did that, and then someone posted something about it online, and they were like, "Oh, you know what? If everyone's buying toilet paper, I guess I should buy it." I went to Costco, and they have a 1 toilet paper roll per like person limit.
Yeah, all the grocery stores that I've been
like
to,
package.
they all have papers. They're like only 2 packs per person.
Which makes sense. I mean, obviously there needs to be enough for everyone, and if people are hoarding it, then that's just not cool.
I'm surprised there's not a limit like that already.
I feel like it depends. Like in some cases there are.
But I mean, like, in January, if I went to my local grocery store and I just bought out all the toilet paper, no one was gonna stop me.
Yeah.
They were gonna let me take it.
That is an excellent point, actually. There was not anything already in place. Like, let's just say we were doing a humongous 24-hour fort challenge, and we wanted to buy all of the toilet paper in Walmart and build a fort out of it. Like,
Right.
who's gonna stop us? That's like a total, like, Mr. Beast video, like, project that could definitely happen.
Maybe it already has happened.
Maybe it has. Who knows? But, like, that is just something that we never previously would have seen as an issue.
Right.
Like, it's only now that people are, like, losing it because there's a pandemic that it's like, oh, you know what? I'm going to go get toilet paper because that is really what I need right now.
That's just the...
Like, we're running out of masks, which makes sense. We're running out of hand sanitizer, which sort of makes sense.
Yeah. But toilet paper, that's the big one. Like,
my ass, it needs to be clean.
I don't know. I can't make sense of it.
Yeah, I was going to say, it doesn't make personal sense to me either, but, to each their own.
And neither does buying extra food. Like, it's going to go bad and you're not going to eat all of it.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, that does make a lot of sense. Well, I feel like a lot of people
Like
freaked
eggs.
out. A lot of people freaked out about like the excessive amount of people who are going to the grocery store, and therefore that feeds into the fact.
And then that feeds into the fact, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. People were like, "Oh, well, if everyone else is going to the grocery store, I better
Well,
go
we
and get the
gotta
food
go."
now while it's still there." And then everyone thought of that idea.
I wonder when, all major airport systems are going to be back up. Like,
I was just going to ask
running.
that same question, but not about airports. I was just going to say society as a whole.
Oh, okay. I mean,
'Cause
yeah,
it shut down literally within a day.
it
Like
really did.
Like the airlines and stuff, they're just gone. And it was really interesting how fast we were able to shut down, like literally within a day, but we didn't have apparently any time to prepare.
I don't want to say it was 9/11 fast, because that was fast.
No, that was really fast.
But the way...
But it was quite fast.
Every flight was like... every airline, excuse me.
Well, they announced the travel ban on I think it was like a Thursday, and then they said by that Monday, everyone, traveling into the U.S. from a foreign country is just no longer allowed to do so.
If you're studying, students who are studying in another country, they were all ordered to come back to the U.S. by a certain date. And, I mean... Which that's a big deal. Like, you've lived your life for, maybe half a semester at this point in another country. And now you're like, you have to come back or you are stuck here in, Italy or whatever. I'm just using that as an example.
Isn't possibly well, actually, I mean, at this time, it's the worst place to be stuck in. Not the worst,
Yes.
but it's pretty bad. It was bad there. But,
China's kind of got it under control now, though.
Yeah, I was going to say. I keep seeing a bunch of memes that are like, China's like, well, we've passed it on to the rest of the world. See you guys.
See ya.
I'm like, oh.
Well, I don't want to give any props to China because it's China, but...
Yeah, they suck. It's freaking China.
But China, built, hospitals. Makeshift hospitals specifically for coronavirus.
It took them, 3 days.
Yeah. I mean, that's what we need to be doing here.
It took, I'm getting the numbers wrong. It was 10 days to build 3 hospitals, and each of those hospitals held 10 million people.
Yeah.
Now, granted, one of those hospitals collapsed, but the other 2 were entirely fine, and they built them in a matter of 10 days.
And if everyone's saying, we're having the same situation in the U.S., this is just terrible, everyone's going to die, why haven't we done that here? Why don't we have rules in place? Why don't we have,
That's the thing, though.
utilities in place for this kind of thing?
Here, China is a communist country, so the government can just claim whatever they want, whenever they want. Here, if they wanted to build a hospital, you obviously would need to allocate the land to do so, and that type of thing. That's just a whole deal. But I feel like at the moment, people should be like, you know what? Yeah, I'll sell my land to the government so that they can build a hospital. That would be something that's legitimate at the moment.
I mean, yeah, I think in a situation like this, why doesn't the government just say, okay, I don't really care what you think. We need to get this under control.
Yeah. This is just one of those times where everyone needs to just be a bro.
Yeah. We just got to help each other out.
Yeah. If you can help, do. And if you can't, there will be someone else there to help you, hopefully.
I don't think I can name anyone who dislikes success for humanity.
The Joker.
Okay, you know what?
Maybe there are definitely some like psychos out there who are like, no, we should whatever.
Well, I mean, they also have mental diseases.
Yes, yeah, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
there's some people who couldn't give a crap about other people, and there are some people who really want everyone else to succeed.
Like Vladimir Putin.
Yeah. Speaking of which, he's going to be president again.
Is he?
Yeah.
Are they having like an election right now, or
no? He just gave himself the power to do so.
Well, yeah, no, I know that, but I'm just like, wait, so hold on. Does he just say, okay, I'm president now, there are no more elections? Is that what happened?
I don't know about no more. I actually, I'm going to look up the specific details. I don't want to be wrong.
Yeah, this is a research topic right here.
He is currently the president of Russia. What a guy.
Are you Googling it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well, yeah. Oh, he's divorced. That's unfortunate. Or she died. I don't know. Net worth?
Net worth?
$70 billion.
US?
Yep, USD. That, not to be a joke, but that trumps our president at $3.13 billion.
Step aside, buddy.
Step aside, Trump. You've been trumped. Damn. How old is he? He is 67.
Oh, I thought he was older than that.
No. He looks pretty good for 67, to be honest.
He does, yeah.
Like, he's aged quite well. But, yeah. It actually is not... Here we go. Yeah, I was going to say. Here's the article.
Okay,
it is
here's the article.
Vladimir Putin positions himself to become Russia's eternal leader.
Eternal leader.
That's
some wording right there.
Right. He added an amendment to Russia's constitution that additionally extends his presidency to 2036.
That's really cool. Great. 2036?
2036.
16 years?
Yeah.
If I'm Putin, I don't want to work
He's
that
83.
hard for the next 16 years. That's kind of crazy.
Isn't that nuts?
I just said it was.
Well, you said crazy.
Isn't that the same thing, though?
Yes, it's the same thing. Anyway, but that's just a weird system. But you know what? Apparently it works for them, except for the fact that every time communism has been tried, it has failed. But you know what? That's okay.
Every single time.
Every single time. Apparently history has not learned from it.
Ooh, you know what I just thought about?
This? I don't.
The Olympics are postponed. That's kind of a big deal.
That is a big deal.
When were the Olympics? When was the original date? Like July? Is it normally July?
I think it's definitely in the summer, obviously, because it's the Summer Olympics.
Okay, well, yeah.
It is originally supposed to start on July 23rd.
Okay.
Oh,
and
wait.
then it's like a week long.
Wait, just kidding. That is when it...
Oh.
I love how it now says, if you look up 2020 Olympics dates, it is now Thursday, July 26th of 2021. The 2020 games are taking place in 2021. 2021. Makes sense to me.
I mean, you could probably find out when the 2016 one happened.
They're supposed to be from July 24th to the 9th of August. So I guess it's still at the exact same time. It's just going to be next year.
Yeah. But I mean, the Olympics is like the one time every 2 years or whatever where everyone just forgets the fact that they hate each other and watch sports. Yay, sport ball.
Yeah, exactly. Yay, sports. Well, a lot of them aren't even ball-based. They're like random events.
I mean, they got basketball, and volleyball.
I mean, no, I'm just saying
soccer,
a lot of them
ball.
are not ball based.
No, that's definitely true. I mean, swimming.
I mean, have you ever watched Olympic curling, dude? I don't think I've
That's
ever
not Summer
gotten.
Olympics, but
I'm just saying. Obviously, it's not Summer Olympics. The ice would melt. Duh. But it's just it's such an. There's so many weird sports. We should talk about that sometime.
in the Olympics.
Yeah. Or I just mean in general. I mean, yes, there are some weird sports in the Olympics for sure.
Maybe
But I mean, they exist outside of the Olympics.
Maybe we should talk about that next podcast. Do you want to wrap it up here?
You know what? I think we should. This is a great segue.
This is a great segue into the next podcast because hopefully you have autoplay on and are listening to the next episode.
That's right.
Right?
The Pink and Blue podcast, starring
Of the Pink and Blue
Boomerang
podcast.
and Bluetoonz from God Gaming Esports, sponsored by Tesla.
I mean, I don't know how long that sponsorship is going to last.
Well, I mean, currently it doesn't exist, so...
We got to go with the bit, okay?
We can just delete this out. It's fine.
We can cut it out.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Pink and Blue Podcast, Episode 1. First episode of this series. Thank you so much for coming and checking it out. We appreciate it. Hopefully another episode will be up soon. We'll be leading in, talking about strange sports from the Olympics.
Absolutely. Write that down. We're doing that next podcast.
There we go.
For sure.
Everyone, please have a great rest of your day. Try to enjoy your time during this, global pandemic that we obviously just discussed.
Be nice to each other.
Make the best of it.
Please.
Be nice to each other. Humans need to be bros.
And our socials will be listed in the description or the whatever. I don't know how the description on YouTube. We'll have this up on Spotify and Apple Podcasts at some point. I don't know how those work.
Yeah,
but our socials will be in there somewhere. Follow the podcast. Appreciate it. See you next time.